All right, guys, whether you are with a hunt club, just a good old boy that likes to decorate up your vehicle, whatever it is, everybody likes windshield headers, back window decals, things like that, and some of them tend to get a little bit long. So how do you go about sticking something this long on and making sure that everything is straight? We're going to show you some tricks, okay? It's called hinging, okay? We learned it from the master as it was. So if you call Brandon, this is how he's going to explain it, and he's going to tell you go watch video number 3. Again, we start out all our videos the same way. We've got our decal, we've got stuff to clean the window, we got paper toweling, we got masking tape. It's going to be really, really, really important on this decal, okay guys? We want this thing to be straight. We're going to measure. You may want to get a measuring tape for this project, okay? All right, guys, just so that you guys can get a good look at how to put this on, we're going to install this on the back window of this car. I'm going to get Brandon to give me a hand here in just a minute. But before we get going, what's the very first thing we do? We prep our surfaces. Got to make sure everything's nice and clean. I can't be putting this on with all that road grime and all that road dust up there. Otherwise, I'm going to have problems, okay? So we're going to finish cleaning the back of this window on this dirty vehicle. And we started out that way on purpose because if you're a good old boy, you've probably been out in the mud and your vehicle's not all that nice and shiny when you start this project anyway. All right, let's get all that stuff off of there. Don't worry about putting some Windex on the decals you've already installed. They're already seated down. You can wash that off, not a problem. Make sure it's nice and clean. Hit it a second time, right? This is your decal. You want this thing to last a long time. And again, if you call us up and say, oh, it's not sticking, we know you put it on a dirty window. You're not fooling us. Okay, so I brought Brandon out here because Brandon is the king of being OCD. I'm not even going to worry about that because I'm not going to leave this on here. But Brandon likes to make sure that everything's nice and straight. So Brandon's got the tape measure with us, and we're going to go get our decal and we're going to do some measuring.
There you go. 37 right on the head.
37? Okay, so 18 and a half. So we know, give me a spot where 18 and a half is on there, Brandon, so I can mark it. You can use it with a pen or a pencil. It's going to be right there, right on that crease. Okay, now to make it easy, measure this light, Brandon, and let's figure out where the middle of that light is. 18.
Okay, so the light is 18 1/4.
So 9 1/8 we want it. Nice.
How about we go right to that center dot?
Oh yeah, the dot in the middle. There we go. That'll work perfect. Okay, so we found the center. What about up and down? You know, do we want this thing to look like this, or do we want it down lower? Where do we want it? So let's figure out where you want to have it. So measure, when you're doing this, where's the most consistent line on this decal? I would say it's the bottom of the decal, where the bottom of the words are. And we're going to stick the tape on there because we can move it. We found our center. Okay, so let's line up the bottoms, Brandon, with the top. He's going to start at the top of the glass in the window and measure down.
Right next to the light, that way it's a consistent spot.
Okay, so why don't we go down a little bit lower? Let's go to 6 1/4 with it, okay? That way we got some adjusting to do. I'm going to come straight down. Tell me where, Brandon.
Keep coming. Right there.
Okay. Okay.
6 1/4 on that.
So we measure to the bottom of the words, because you can see you could pretty much take a line and draw it across the bottom of these words. So he's going to start on this side, go to 6 1/4. We're pretty close right there, aren't we?
Yep.
Okay. So now we got our decal taped where we want it, but it'd be kind of hard for us to install it now and pull this edge off and peel everything, because what we'd end up with is we wouldn't be in the same spot. So this is where the hinging trick comes in, okay? We're going to start in the middle. We're going to run some masking tape. We're going to come beyond the decal, and we're going to go up past the decal. We want to tape the middle of this decal down really, really good so it doesn't move. We want to keep the center right where it's supposed to be. Okay? Don't worry about saving your tape, guys. Tape is cheap. The decal is a one-time deal. So make sure you put on a second piece. Make sure you got that thing taped down in the middle, right where you want it to be. I take it we're going to come with that edge first?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Now you can take the tape off that top corner, right? This decal's not going to move. No matter how many times I do this, every time I put it back, this decal's going to be still straight, measured out right where I want it, because we hinged it in the middle with this masking tape, right? Let's flip this thing over and show them how to separate it the other way by pulling the backing off the masking instead.
Yep.
So let's say this one, again, this decal's been sitting for a while, so now Brandon's going to take it back over here, and we're going to go from this direction.
And this is, you're going to find a lot of times, folks, this is the easiest way to do it. Okay. And what I do is I always fold this backing straight over. A lot of people will try and they'll pull it straight up like this, and the decal's more than likely going to want to follow the backing when it does that. So I pull it straight away and I just go slow. Just go slow and watch it. And you'll see it when it starts to come up. And then you just go back and you massage it again. You just try to keep working it slowly.
It's less likely to follow you this way though.
Yeah, yeah. You see how I got a nice straight back, like 180 degrees back. I'm pulling this backing away from the masking. So it don't matter if you go at an angle. Sometimes you might find that going at a certain angle, depending on what font you have or what kind of a decal it is, sometimes a certain angle might work better. But for me, I've just found that making sure that you pull this backing straight away from the masking works really well. Keeping it good and flat. And you just watch and make sure. There you go. So now we've got it to the tape that we put across here. Okay? So as you can see, we've got this peeled back to the center tape that we put across the decal. We're going to get this backing cut out and out of the way. You can take this X-Acto knife and you can cut on the glass. It's not going to hurt anything. So take that, cut that backing right off. There you go.
If you were on paint, you may want to just tear it then and be very careful. So.
Yep, you're better off to tear it if you're on paint.
Okay.
So now, you're going to take this and you're going to have a second guy come along and help you. So Dad, I'm going to have you go ahead and set this camera back up on the tripod.
Okay, hold on.
When it comes to installing these decals, don't be lazy and try to do it yourself.
Especially the big ones.
It's always easier to have somebody help you out. So get a buddy to help you. Have them hold it tight over there and hold it off of the window a little ways. Probably about 1 inch to 3 inches. But you don't want them to stick their end to the window. You want to take, whether you have a squeegee or if you have a credit card or an ID, you take that and you just start working it up and down from the middle here. Really good. And you get it good and straight. You can see how I'm going up and down. You don't want to come across and go all over the place with it, because then it's not going to stick evenly. So I just keep coming up and down and work my way from the tape over. And yes, we do have squeegees, but we're using an ID because that's something that more than likely everybody is going to have. You just keep working that over. So once you get that where the decals are all installed on there, take your ID or your straight edge, you go back over it a couple more times. You work that on there really good.
Now we got this half installed, right? Well, we don't want to pull the masking off of this just yet because the decal's not done. Now we need this side of the decal to hold so this side stays true. Remember, we had the hinge to help us with that before. At this point, we don't need the hinge anymore, right, Brandon?
That's right.
So we can pull the hinge off. Brandon's going to take the masking tape off the other corner over there.
And the reason that you can do that now is because the masking here is acting like the masking tape that we had hinged. It's holding it straight.
Yep. So, okay. I'll switch with you so that you can go ahead and explain what you're doing.
Okay. So now I folded this back over to where you can see to where the masking was cut. Now I'm going to take and I'm just going to slowly I'm going to continue peeling this the same direction I was going before. Remember to go slow. And just watch. Make sure that you're not going to peel up any of the decal.
There, we got some backing sticking.
And sometimes you'll see the backing will stick to the decal. That's not a bad thing. All that means is that when it was being cut, the cutter got a little bit deep. That doesn't mean you have a bad decal. You just keep on peeling it. It'll come with it eventually.
Show that. Here? Go a little further and show that.
All right. So see here, I've got the decal is starting to come up with the backing. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to roll this back down, massage that spot a little bit more, make sure I got a straight crease, and I'm going to come slowly with it. And this time it's stuck down. Just be patient and go slow. If you do that, you're not going to ruin any of these decals.
That's right. Sometimes you may have to do that a dozen times or more on every one of these, or on the decal that you have, just because of the detail or the small pieces or whatever's in there. So that's why you want to go slow. You see it coming with it, roll it back, massage it down a little.
And that's just part of it. You get a decal that's got a lot of details in it, like those flags that you just installed earlier. You know, all those little stars, you have to be patient with those. Here you can see again, I've got the vinyls trying to come up with the backing. I just roll it back over real easy, massage it a little bit. Keep this nice and straight, the backing. And I keep on going with it. It's stuck right to the masking the way it's supposed to. And I didn't ruin the decal because I wasn't trying to speed with it. Going nice and slow. The more patient you are with this stuff, the better off you're going to be.
There you go.
And you always want to go slow right to the end, because a lot of times that's where you're going to hang yourself. You're going to think that you've got it made, you're on the home stretch, and you go fast and you rip the end of the decal. I've done it, trust me. That's why I'm saying make sure you go slow right to the end. So we're going to do the same thing on this side that we did on the other side. I'm going to have my dad hold it on that end about 1 inch to 3 inches off the glass. And then I'm going to start from the middle again, and I just keep on working this up and down all the way until I get down to that end of the decal. And that way it keeps pushing the air out evenly. You don't get any bubbles trapped back here, because you're not starting over here and working your way back in towards different spots. You just keep on going evenly, one direction. And because that person that's helping you is keeping this decal, or keeping the backing pulled straight, they're keeping it pulled straight and the masking over here held, and that keeps it measured out perfectly even across the way.
Just the way we had it.
Exactly the way we measured it out. Now, this is all, we'll make sure that we massage this down to the glass real good. Okay. Massage that down real well. Now you take one corner and you peel that back. I peel it back always the same way with everything, just like I'm peeling the backing away from the masking. I keep the masking 180 degrees back also. I just pull it straight back from the glass. I don't pull it up, because sometimes the decal will want to follow the masking. So I pull it straight back like that, and I go slow with this once again just to make sure. And like I keep stating, if you go slow with it, you'll notice if something's starting to follow. And you just keep it pulled straight back. You see how I got a nice tight crease here? I'm pulling this backing straight back against the glass back here. Just keep on coming slow with it. Don't worry about that. That's just a little tree sap that fell on the window. Alright, and there you go. You have it. Nice clean install. Remember, just take your time. Measure everything out good and even. Use plenty of masking tape. Masking tape is cheap. Like my dad said before, use plenty of masking tape. Don't sell yourself short on it. And you're going to have a nice, good outcome in the end. There you have it.
Alright guys, there you go. That's the end of video number 3. We did video number 1. Simple install. It was real easy. We took the backing off on the table. We put it on. We did video number 2 was our one with a little bit more detail with the stars. There again, we stress the importance of pulling the backing away from the masking by holding it on a table or on the window and pulling that nice and straight so that the stars stuck to the masking when we first did it, and then we put our decal on. We just put the long decal on, which would be like a windshield header or something for your back window, and we showed you how to hinge it. Stay tuned, we're coming up with video number 4. We're going to put the big decal on the full back window of that Chevy Silverado over there.